Good. Well, I think we can go ahead and start. This is a public hearing to amend the the decision at Highland Meadows.
It's just a discussion.
It's just a public meeting. It's not a hearing, right?
Correct.
Okay. And you've got the attorney is here. That's always scary.
No, but no. We just thought it'd be nice to have Larry come back when it's maybe our last
Right.
meeting.
Oh, yeah?
Just to see him.
I
Just
really
say
it's been
hi.
a long time.
Miss being here, you know.
Sure you do.
New faces are here.
That's right.
We missed you too.
All right.
We were hoping Susan would be here because it'd be like old Pullman.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, yeah, I know she looked over what you
Yeah.
submitted and she
Yeah.
made some comments.
Yeah, she has been communicating.
Yeah. So it looks like we've given this about 30 minutes or so to go through. So, Mark, I guess you're doing the heavy lifting. Are you going to take it through point by point, or?
Yeah, we should. The extension of the special permit was the first item. The status on the site is we've got 8 homes left to sell, which John's got a picture of the site up there, and the red dots are the homes that are remaining, just to give you a sense of what's happening. We also are looking at, this is next year's condominium association plan, so all these homes will be under maintenance by the association, and these will wrap in next year. And the plan is that we will finish, we're building all the homes. I do have one question on this one that'll come up later today. But we're building all the homes. The intention is to complete them all. When we're trying to decide how far we bring some of these later homes through the design process and building process. Do we wait for a customer? Some are sold, some aren't. And do we leave that for the homeowners to select? I think as we go into next year, we'll decide if we finish them or if we don't, depending on sales activity. We should wrap up this by the middle of the year. We should see most of the heavy work done. Landscaping, buildings weather tight. And then through the end of next year, depending on customers, we'll finish them. We'll probably have service work, what we call service and repair, which is warranty work for the homeowners through the end of next year and into 2017. Probably some things that we owe the condominium association through the end of next year and 17. So that's sort of the big picture at Highland Meadows.
So when do we start the interface with the association? We talked about having them come informally to a couple of sessions, but that hasn't happened.
They've been interested too. We have an advisory board now
Yeah.
that's made up of 9 homeowners. We have a management company that's been there for 4 years, so they're very familiar. The owner of the property management company is ready to come in. I think there's 1 or 2 homeowners that might come in or might not. I don't know if they'll let the manager handle it. They're pretty good on making sure that they understand how we operate the community, wastewater, landscape bids, snow removal bidding. So they're getting involved to understand that piece of it. And we can do that anytime you'd like. So
I think we ought to do it pretty soon, because if you finish the heavy lifting by the middle of next year,
yep.
You're basically out of there.
I'm here until the end.
The end meaning
The very
middle
end.
of next year.
Well, the end would be the end of next year, maybe into 17. I'll be involved with transition. We have to transition the condominium over to the homeowners. So I'm involved. I'm the lead person for that, like I have been for everything that's been happening here. So we'll have some work to do. We need to educate them what's happening. We have some follow-up work that we owe them, and I'll be facilitating. And Gary on site, who we met very early on, is taking care of anything that's on site, that so-called heavy lifting on site stuff. So.
Yeah, I just think we need to start thinking ahead,
Sure.
because we need to establish protocols. There are going to be proposals for changes down the road. It's worked pretty well so far,
Yeah.
but then in that transition, I just want to be sure that we don't have any disconnects where things happen that need to be pulled back, and there's a lot of discussion like that. So
And whenever I get a chance, I do try to keep them informed about the special permit, and they're getting much better at that, especially the advisory board, which is good. So, well, we'll schedule something if we need. We can do it this year if we want to, or we could do it at the beginning of the year.
My suggestion would be, why don't you guys think about what you think a good transition program would be,
Okay.
and just, ship it to John, and, so we know what to expect and we can start to schedule things.
Good.
Good. Okay.
So that kind of leads us to the extension of the special permit. I think it expires the end of this year. There's not a lot to do, but we didn't want it to expire without having, that ability to complete it.
Yeah, we have gotten an extension to the end of this year to complete all the work, and obviously it's not going to be completed.
Right.
So we were trying to be, somewhat conservative and get us into 2017 so we didn't have to complete
So you're asking for an extension to when in 2017?
December 31. Just,
December 31, 2017? So it's a 2-year extension?
yes. And we don't think there's going to be much going on, and we don't think we really need to go that far, but we think there's probably going to be warranty work and maybe some punch list items on the common areas, whatever. So we didn't know what completion would be, so we were just being on the conservative side.
Okay.
So that was the first.
Well, why don't we just take them one at a time?
Okay.
All right, so there's a request for an extension to December 31st, 2017. Anybody got any questions or comments?
Well, you asked a question, so do you feel there's a downside to that? I mean, I just think it seems like it would stop them having to come back in case there is something that they need another 2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
When was the permit granted to begin with? This is an extension.
We had originally had the completion date December of 2012. We hit a pretty bad market, so the board voted us a 3-year extension. And this was all under the special permit that we had a completion date by that time. We're really moving along very well, obviously, and the market has picked up, but we're not quite there yet.
So the original permit was for 2 years or 3 years, and then there was an extension of another?
The original permit, I forget, was the original permit?
2007.
Yeah, we had about
2007.
five, we
Okay,
had about
all right,
5
I got
years.
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then sales went off the cliff.
Okay.
Yes. We had nobody coming by, it was
I don't see a problem.
So would you like a motion?
Yeah.
So can we move to extend this permit, the special permit, until December 31st, 2017?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's unanimous. Okay, item 2.
The second item involves a portion of the existing,
Meeting house.
the meeting house, that's what you call it. And we've been using a portion of it for our managing the condominium. And we just wanted to, it's not a commercial use in the sense that we have property manager there, much like we might even have a security person there. It's really just for us. But we wanted to just understand, there's one thing in the RD, we're not supposed to have a commercial use. We think this is really just part of the condominium use, accessory if you want to call it. And so we just wanted to sort of establish that we'd like to have our management office in the basement of the meeting house.
This yellow area is what's existing. That's finished space coming down, service elevator, mechanical room. That's unfinished on the left-hand side. This is the new proposed area. And it's, there's an on-site person that is, we'll call him a superintendent person on-site, that he really services the homeowners for their light duty needs. And then there's an office personnel that take care of requests, additional services like landscaping if someone wants to enhance something, or flowers, or services in the house, just monitoring the home, and fees, and handling the condominium fees. So it's just office space for them only, for the
Okay.
property manager.
In our notebook here, there's a note on it that says, I agree that this proposal does fit into the RD use requirements as a customary non-commercial accessory use. Who is I? So this is you.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
And then there's also the email that
Larry
clarifies second and third.
That's the one that Larry sent to Susan?
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's not an office that's gonna, you know, Park's gonna serve us, and Park's gonna serve other people, and other people will be coming in. It's really just totally for us.
There's no other place where this could possibly happen, right? This particular use
On the site?
on the site.
We have to build.
We have to build something.
Right. And we thought where it's a common area, it's within the community, in the meeting house, it's a lower level, it made sense from that perspective. We've got parking that's outside that area that we've already,
What were your original plans? Where were these people going to work?
no, we didn't think about it in that depth. And the community's grown a bit, the level of service has grown, so that we underestimated the interest of the homeowners, certainly of the kind of service that we can provide.
So this would be the property manager and staff in a meeting room
Yeah.
and some interior. Is that the way it's built out now, or is that the proposed build out?
This would be the proposed area here.
Yes,
The yellow is built today,
Okay.
Oh,
And-
yeah, there isn't.
and there is an exit door here. That's a below grade door, so it's a walkout basement.
Right.
For the most part, it's,
All right, so there's no meeting room there. It's just a couple of offices and reception?
correct. This one's oversized, where one person might have a desk and there might be a table where they bring in the subcontractors that are working on landscape or whatever to have a general meeting with them. Or homeowners, the advisory board might meet there. Although we tend to meet on the first floor where there's a little more comfortable.
Just to be clear, the building exists, and this is just a build out of the existing building.
Yes.
It's okay with it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm not sure if this is an amendment to the COA or,
Yeah.
It fits into the use.
Maybe it's more of a clarification now, I don't know exactly.
Where
We're
do we
sure
put it?
either.
that's my question.
Yeah.
You know, where would you suggest we put it, Larry?
Well, what I was thinking, I guess, you know, maybe the board could just confirm that the use that we're proposing to make in that space is part of, is consistent with the special permit use that was granted.
Yeah, I think maybe it's a note in the minutes and a letter from the land use department saying that the board has voted X to Y on allowing that activity to occur in the meeting house. Yes, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
we didn't want to just do it and then people say,
Yeah,
well,
no.
what are you doing?
No,
So,
it's-
you know.
Okay, so I think we can do it that way, and then we don't have to get involved in.
Well, like John says here, right, it's a non-commercial accessory use.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah, it's not a shop.
It's not, right, not
No commerce
hairdressing,
going on.
salon.
Oh, we're not going to be hairdressing.
No hairdressing.
No hairdressing, no barber shop. It's a non-commercial accessory use. just getting.
Yeah, so, you know, he's the enforcement officer, if he's comfortable with that, obviously, that's fine with us.
Yeah, okay, so carry it in the minutes and issue a letter, and then, that probably ought to be over my signature.
Sure.
And all we need is a motion. Yeah, we might as well, just to make it part of the record.
So the motion to include this so-called sort of modification or build out of the basement in the minutes? We're going to say, how are we going to say it?
We're gonna say we agree to
A request?
allowing this request for office management use in the meeting house.
As a customary non-commercial accessory use.
And-
Exactly.
And noted in the minutes.
Right.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good. Did you get that?
I did, yes.
Okay. Good. On to item 3.
This was about the pool and the.
Yes.
All right,
Oh, so
I guess
John's got that there, so.
Do the pool?
it's item- That's what it is.
It's really, the next thing is, this is the home that is located, let's see, off by itself. And
Right off the
John's,
Highland, right?
yeah, 10 Highland Meadows Lane, where John has the yellow marker, that's the location, that's that standalone location. And,
Right off the Highland.
so this location right here, we looked at that, we're building a story and a half home. It's one of our smaller, it's a Cape style home that we're building. And one of the things that we've been thinking about as an option only, we're not building it at this point, is an option to put in a small pool within a fenced area within the building area. This is a walkout, so it's at the basement level. It's sort of a bowl, the grade comes down this way. There is, the grade continues out this way, so we do have drainage for that area to go out over the grade. It's quite a bit of landscaping in that area. So that is, we're thinking of that, offering that as an option. We're not building it, but that's a little bit different than anything we've done on the site so far. In that same vein, we're thinking of a caregiver suite, guest suite as an option as well. It's a pretty unique location. I think someone might want to do that, but before we even bring it up at the sales side of things, we wanted to talk to the board about both these items.
Is there any other pool anywhere?
No.
No, so this is the
In fact, it's proscribed in the documents. Pools are, there are a couple of things about the pool that worry me. One of them is that this, I guarantee, is going to come back as a bigger, you know.
It won't be a little plunge pond.
Yeah, it's going to come back as a bigger thing.
I just think there might be a lot of other people following along.
And then that's the other
Other
thing. This
people
is,
wanting a little tiny.
yeah, and then they get bigger, and then the corollary to that is that all these things are going to require lights, because that's a code requirement. That a
Although this
pool,
one was noted not to have a light in the pool.
well, I don't know how you get around the code on that. This is a water hazard. Somebody could fall into it if it's not lighted, so.
We planned, well, everything we could see and find, we didn't see anything that lighting was required. We did,
Well, they're gonna want lights anyway, so.
yeah, we're gonna have to put the little post lights out there. These are 30 inches, 24 inches tall, low voltage that we put around the
I
perimeter.
mean, we see pools all the time.
Yeah.
We're told over and over and over again, year after year, that the code requires lights in pools.
Does anybody actually know
Every
that?
single application.
Simply acceptable because it's
This
always
exact reason.
provided.
That you've got,
Right.
you know, there's a feature in the landscape that is gonna proliferate like rabbits, if you allow it. Now we're gonna have, and now you're talking about what size pools. You know, if there's room to expand it, they're gonna say, why not expand it?
Right, because it's a big.
And then,
Is there a pool for the entire?
No.
no.
No, this is the one and only.
Yep.
It would be very special.
We haven't had requests for it, but we thought, you know, this is a unique location. We thought that it would be worthwhile having that option to enhance the property.
Right, yeah, I mean, this would be unique for a while, and then it wouldn't be, because we couldn't say yes to this and no to the next one down the pike. We couldn't. We couldn't say this one house, and only this one house, gets a pool and nobody else. I think we'd have a hard time defending that one. That's my own personal feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. Sad but true. There'll be other places that, even though maybe not as big a lot, but they'll be hidden from other homes around it. The landscaping will be good, and some people decide they really like a little wading pool, a little plunge pool themselves. Slippery slope.
All right, so how about the other aspect of this one? Yeah.
The
Caretaker suite?
caretakers.
It's really just, it's just an addition.
It's
to
just
the-
an addition,
Yeah,
right.
it just makes the house bigger.
But it's a
Can we
small
see it
house
in
to
the
begin with.
context
Yeah.
of the whole area?
Of the,
Right.
how it
The
fits.
whole, yeah, and the whole development, how it's oriented.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, let's see, the best way, well, I guess this is the best location here, and then there's a site plan,
So,
There you go, where's the road and so on.
so the road is here, and,
so where would, so,
That's as good as I have.
yeah,
It's where 10 Highland Meadows, that's the
It's great,
roads
you
are.
see where, you
Yeah.
see the yellow.
no, I know where it is, but
So-
I'm trying to figure out.
okay,
Where
where
it is
is,
on the house.
Highland Street is down here, it's
Yeah.
below, and I'll show you the site map, how it sits. So this is how it sits, just like that. So Highland Street is on the lower side of the page, off the page. Our Highland Meadows Lane is here, and then the driveway comes up. So that suite is actually inbound of Highland Street, so will be screened by the house and the
So it
location.
doesn't encroach on Highland,
No, no,
because the other direction.
correct. It goes right here.
Yeah, I see.
And you don't have any elevations or any thoughts about what it would actually look like or anything like that?
Just, we want to keep it small. This is a Cape-style home,
Mhm.
so we want to keep it looking small. The elevation as you drive in, so as the driveway comes here as a driveway, so as you come up, you'll see this part of a one-story building, which is this.
Mhm.
We really want to try to landscape it so it was really invisible and not seen at all. And it would be a roof connector only, not enclosed space, probably double columns, some kind of a path that comes over. And the house itself, the original house. There it is.
What is a caretaker park?
Is that a three-car garage?
Wait a minute, let's get an answer to the
I
question.
don't know. We haven't thought about that. We could create a space on that circular turnaround that's on this home. Yeah, so we have a fairly big cul-de-sac that comes up. I think it's a 55-foot diameter come up. We could put a parking space here. I don't know whether it depends really on the homeowner. Do they allow someone to park in the garage or not? The third car was thinking that this is someone that has a third car would use it. So we could create a space that is here.
How many square feet is the house and how many square feet is the
The
expansion?
house is 3,800 and change, and this is 500 square feet of living.
Okay.
There's no paved area outside that caretaker's cottage? There's no little terrace or any
No.
place where the guy could walk outside without stepping in the
I
grass?
would guess that I would assume we'd build a brick walkway, much like we build in the community that connects that. It wouldn't be as big as this one, probably something 3 feet in width that brings them to this location. There's a connection through the garage if they want to. We haven't actually got to the point where people have had caretakers. We've gotten temporary type
So
help.
Mark, I'm assuming your definition of caretaker isn't what maybe Al is thinking of, because he's talking about a man, so I'm thinking he's thinking about the guy who would take care of the house when they were gone, and I was thinking it would be elderly assistants,
That's-
like
that's
a
the
nurse's aide
latter,
type
right?
thing.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what- yeah.
I think.
But they can be men too.
Well, that's
Right,
true,
right.
but,
But it wasn't someone who was gonna be doing the landscaping.
right, it wasn't somebody who was gonna be staying there while they were in Florida.
No, I got that,
Oh, okay.
but you still wanna, you're gonna, if you're in that little
Yeah,
cottage, you're
yeah.
gonna wanna play somewhere where you
That's
can
a
sit
privacy.
outside. and,
Yeah,
You know, you're not just, you know, boxed into the cell. So, and whoever it is gonna be, whether, women drive cars too.
they do?
Yeah, some of them drive Maseratis.
Quite well.
Yeah. So they might want a place to park it, I'm just saying.
Okay.
So it's an increase in the hard surface is all.
Yep.
So how many of these units have 3-car garages?
No.
So
Just this one.
why couldn't that third bay be for the guests?
I just don't know that the particular, whoever buys this would say, I do have a sports car, or I don't, and you can park here.
Or maybe it's one or the other.
It could be, and usually if someone's having caregiver type services, they're not necessarily drivers
Yeah.
anyway, so you
They're
end up
not
with
gonna have
spaces.
3 cars.
Yes.
I can't predict that, but you would guess that that's the direction. We're also thinking this could be a guest suite. We have the ability to have guests on a temporary basis, whether it be friends come and visit, or, the house has 2 second floor guest bedrooms, very gracious. Some people do finish lower levels, and add another bedroom. You know, our occupants are 1 and 2 people. That's what we have.
Where is the limitation of the site? Is it the dash line? that
It
runs-
is, yes.
So the corner of the guest suite is right on the property line.
Right, the surveyor called me on that and said, that's not gonna work.
No.
Why don't you pull it back 2 feet? So we didn't change the B plan, that is our process of approving movement. So I did pull it back 2 feet from there.
Okay, so that's not quite accurate.
Correct.
2 feet. That's uphill.
It is.
So you're gonna, is there a retaining wall or anything you need to put in, or how's that gonna work?
I see that being a 4-foot wall at the first floor level of concrete. So the home, the exterior wall of that room at that point
Is the retaining
Half
wall?
underground?
is gonna be the retaining wall as well as the structure through here.
Really tucked in there.
Water.
Yeah, it's a tight fit.
But you're gonna get the surface water runoff going down a hill right into the back of that thing.
Let's create a sway up to get out. No, this
Not with
is,
2
I
feet
think,
you won't.
this is currently, in this plan and this plan, that's a 12-foot connector. If we reduce it by 2, it's a 10-foot connector. I'm sure we could live with an 8-foot connector, because it's really just a roof to keep the rain off your head. So we'll have, if we go to an 8-foot connector, make it a 4-foot offset. This is, if there's things that we need to follow up, this is not something that is, we want to build, but as an option.
Yeah, I'd be reluctant to say okay to this exact
Plan.
configuration, because I see a bunch of problems with it. I mean, the most I could do personally would be to say yes or no in principle.
Okay?
All kinds of questions are occurring. Where's the exterior lighting? How does that impact it? The overall lighting scheme and so forth and so on. So we'd have to really look at it pretty, you know, in more detail, it seems to
Okay.
me, and get some feedback from, you know, from Kim and Dave about how you treat that corner that's so close to the property line and all that stuff. So, in principle, I guess I don't have a problem with it. You know, I don't know how it's going to work out in actuality personally, but what do you guys think?
I think the 3,500 square foot house with 2 people living in it that need a caretaker doesn't also need an additional place to park. I think that a 3rd bay of that garage should suffice. I don't think you should add more concrete.
I'm trying to think what
Asphalt.
happens 5 years from now, when they come back and they say, that's not gonna work, we need the extra parking space. we need that more paving between that. I'm just thinking ahead, what's gonna happen. We sign off on a particular configuration, but that doesn't mean it's there in perpetuity. So, then you get, you know, I'm sure there'd be a long story.
Have people asked for something like this, or are you guys dreaming it, drumming it up?
Not yet, we haven't asked
We
for it
could,
yet.
we could put it in though, as a requirement that didn't have to get built, just so we know where it would occur if it ever had to.
Right.
You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It may have to be that we have to park, the caretaker would have to park in the garage. We have a 3-car garage.
That could be a
That's a
condition.
condition. But whatever you might approve down the road, and we understand this is not what anyone is approving.
So this guest suite will have a kitchen, den,
Yes,
it's a lot to tuck into 500 square feet.
it is. Yeah, it's small living, it's not,
It's a studio, really.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
So what are the rules and regulations about Airbnb and something like this? I suppose I'm not gonna need my caretaker in there for another 15 or 20 years.
When you say,
Would someone want to rent it out?
Renting, short-term renting.
well,
Who
the
would
documents.
Who would even know
Oh.
that I was doing that?
well, I
Who would
think
even know?
The master deed does
I think the
stipulate.
people that know,
Yeah,
you
this is,
know.
this is fairly isolated, just a thought.
I mean,
you know?
this
Well,
place,
it's a good thought, because it also raises the question of, this would be the example of, now we have a
It's a duplex.
two-family
Yeah,
residence.
It's a duplex, right, two-family residence,
Um,
as opposed to a single. And
Right.
with the possibility for separate living and for
Yeah,
surreptitious rentals.
right.
What'd you say about the master deed?
Master deed has a 1-year restriction on rentals. We had an instance on site with a homeowner had an underage guest that was more than just a weekend. We had to go through the process of having them move out, hope the guests move out through the condominium attorney.
There'd be no age restriction on the caretaker.
no, there isn't.
Right,
That's another change.
right.
That permits a resident to be there, that's not,
But I
that's
think
under
we,
55.
but that's already in the ARD, and it's in the condominium documents, that we anticipated that. I'm fairly certain.
What does it
that
say
says-
exactly? I
Can
mean,
you remember?
because what if it's somebody's son,
Right.
or somebody's nephew or niece? And they say it's a caretaker, but in fact,
Yeah.
it's just somebody
Yeah.
who lives there.
And a
What
lot
if
of
they have
people-
children?
Yeah, well,
Well, as I said, we had an instance where someone had moved in. The neighbors are self-watching and said, we've got to do something, so we had to go through the proceedings legally to have them move out of the house.
Mm.
So it's a remote location, but still, there's folks that live above this.
Yeah, it's gonna be seen.
So they moved here, as one of the neighbors told me, I moved here because of that reason. I like the protection, I don't mind the kids coming in for the weekend, but I don't want to have a permanent resident living.
Let me throw out another one, another model that people frequently do is that they have somebody stay in the house at night and then they work during the day. And these people obviously will have enough money to hire aides to come in during the day, so they'll be having 3 shifts, but they'll allow a very reduced rental. That person would then be working, could be 30, and just sleeping there at night, basically with a baby alarm, just in case, some of the residents. So, I don't know,
the thing is, it's one thing to have somebody living in your residence.
Right, in a room.
In a room.
Right.
But in this case, it's a separate residence where there's no age restriction.
I just see a lot of room for things to happen that will maybe not make other residents in Highland Meadows very happy with what's going on.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a
Bad
less than
feeling.
comfortable feeling about it in principle. It raises a bunch of questions.
Yeah, because there are the 2 bedrooms, the bathrooms are en suite. Why do you need a separate living area?
Maybe you just add a bedroom on the first floor.
Well,
Bedroom down.
as I mentioned, a lot of folks do finish the lower levels, and some have anticipated this is,
Right.
and built in a bedroom downstairs.
Right.
It's just a bedroom.
That's one thing, but a kitchen, you put a kitchen in,
Little
with a
living
separate
area.
bathroom, a living room, and a bedroom, it's a suite.
It's an apartment.
Now it's a house,
Yeah.
now it's a residence.
Yeah, it's
Have you got feedback from the residents on this?
We have not.
because you haven't really mentioned this out there.
No.
So since it's still in the bag, I would suggest it stays in the bag, just be mindful.
Yeah. It could be abused. It's almost like saying, bend the rules, go ahead.
I just know it'll make trouble for us,
Yeah.
or whoever the future board is who has to deal with this. It'll just. Yep.
On a slightly unrelated note, one modification that I remember recently was the retractable awning. Have you had others interested in retractable?
Those folks never installed.
Mm.
But they're considering a screen porch now, so that's good.
That's okay,
It's a
right?
nice structure,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's within the community.
Mhm.
You know, I just might add, you know, as you asked, our governing, the R talks about that our governing documents had to be approved by the town council, which they were, and the board also as well. It talked about restrictions, persons 55 and older. The restrictions may include provision allowing limited temporary occupancy by persons under the age of 55, such as guests or necessary health aides.
Yeah, but that anticipates it's happening within the residence. This is a separate bill.
Well, right.
Special
If
bill,
you
it's
look
not
at it
temporary.
that way,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, but I mean, the point would be that it would still have to be temporary, even if you had that, but I understand what you're saying.
Temporary could be a couple of years.
But the thing is there.
Yeah,
I mean, you
right.
know, and so it could be a whole series of temporary.
Yeah, no, all right. We get that one.
My last item was, this is our last foundation to be installed, and this is the B plan that we usually use to go through the process. This is up on the hilltop. We'd like to change that to a K-style home. And ignore this one because we just talked about that piece of it. So this is off the table. What we do is we keep this B plan and we keep it up to date. We provide John's office and Ann Swain with this. So we're proposing that this be a K-style home. We've rotated a little bit just so that it doesn't look at this home, because it is about 40 feet above it. This is new to the list of things, but this usually what we do is we go through these modifications on the B plan for footwork, home style changes. It's a standard home, different location, and wanted to see if that was a problem for anyone.
Red's what was proposed and blue is obviously what.
With the, we're requesting now, yeah. And as we update this, we carry through steps of as-built and reporting back to the.
Are you changing it because of people that are interested in buying it in a different style?
We find that this model home has been a good seller for us, and it's our last home that's unsold in that location with a foundation, so we thought we'd commit to a better home design that we know is more attractive than most homes.
Do you have comparative elevations of this? I guess north, is north that way?
Yes, just about out the front door.
Okay, so the south elevation, the comparative south elevations, you have those, you have them so we can look at it side by side?
No, I think I can put it together.
That's the one that's right on the nose, that's the thing.
So, that's the house that we're proposing. There's the front. If I walk out,
How does that differ from what was,
what was originally proposed? What was originally proposed was well, they're very similar. What was originally proposed, the front was a two-story element, so it was the colonial that would be more like, very similar to this. That would be the front of what was proposed. The backs are very identical because we only create first floor living and the walkout basement. So if it was the original house, this would be living space, then a roof above it.
yeah, so it's a lower ridge?
A lower ridge, but that ridge is,
Back, yeah.
yeah, much to the street side.
This is a smaller house? Smaller unit?
It's about the same size, but in elevation, the difference is that we've got a cape in the front on the streetscape, and we had a colonial originally. As I mentioned, that particular style has been popular. And it's more a floor plan than it is, well, I think the understatedness of the cape has been attractive to a lot of folks.
And the back is no more looming than the previous?
You know.
What do people feel? Okay.
Seems
It's your last house.
Our last foundation.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah.
Might as well put the big.
Well, unless we
photo
do
in
the
there.
suite, that would have been the last.
Yeah.
That looks
Forget
like it's
about
not
it.
good. This is
That's
the
what-
last foundation.
We really just came to get a sense, and we get the sense.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah.
I think the sense here is that this looks, the board thinks this is fine.
Okay, great. Thanks so much.
2 out of 4 ain't bad.
Okay.
It's hard to believe.
No,
2008.
I don't think we voted on
seven.
the other ones.
Well, way back.
Five.
before.
Oh, wow, we remember.
That's
It
right, the
was
special.
forever.
Yeah, but we had to get it through the
Town
town
meeting.
meeting.
Wow. Lucky me.
Judith is now in for a judge.
Yeah.
That was 2 years of negotiations to
Yeah,
get this.
that was amazing.
Yeah.
And then to get the whole thing up and running in 2008 happened.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, right.
Scary.
Right.
Thank you. Great to see you all.
You too.
Likewise.
Nice job.
You two.
We're old.
That's right.
Yeah.
These guys are all new.
See you in 2018.
We'll try
Thank
to
you.
bring in something new that we can start all over again. I don't know if there's any place to do it though.
Oh, there it is.
There must be.
Stick around.
Stay close.
I mean it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. You have a number?
I just love
Oh, you applied a letter?
Thank you very much.
All right, I'll go back in the morning. Yeah, I don't have any. So that's back in front of them on the 18th.
Okay.
Yeah,
Actually, Susan emailed me saying, I sent it up.
Collaborative, you know.
Doesn't look like we can change it.
No, definitely not. No.
Sue?
If it's too much information, pointer right there, there's your pointer. Yep, yes,
Is
it's
this
got
where you did the solo sidewalk?
What?
You did the solo sidewalk?
Yes. Well, it's solo. Other people are there.
Right.